Hey, good day to you. My name is Richard Mulholland. I am the founder of Missing Link, a presentation powerhouse based out of South Africa. And a few weeks ago, I actually delivered an online event called How to Rock a Desktop Conferencing, where I wanted to share some ideas for how we could actually deliver presentations online a little bit better. But sometimes you don't have to look too far. And a recent presentation went out by the South African government, in fact, by the Minister of the Director General of Education, where he shared some information. I just thought I would maybe take you through a little bit of this content and just give you some kind of pointers. And we can sometimes learn from other things that other people are doing. So I thought that would be fun. Let's actually kickstart and see what's going on here.
Before you just start, can we all of us switch our cameras off? And allow DG, you've got 30 minutes max. I know you, my DG.
Now, it's obviously important to have a good moderator, somebody to hold your people accountable. Absolutely. 30, good. It's good to hold the time. And again, turning our cameras off. I'm not sure why that's good. I think maybe a bit of camera, but let's go ahead and hear from DG himself. DG left his phone on. That's like a top tip number one, and maybe make sure your phone is off before you go on these things. But
Okay. What I will try and do, let me also take my own camera off.
No, DG, yours must be on.
Oh, DG.
You are
DG.
live. You are live. Your camera must be on.
Now the presentation is off.
So we're off to a flying start. Now, one of the first rules we always say to people is prepare before you start. In fact, I've done a number of videos on this topic in the past. It's really, really good. Get online, prepare your content, make sure you've set up for everything to be working. You don't want to leave this to be live, specifically when you're going live on national television. Let's drop forward a little bit more and to see some other things here. Now, one of the first things that you'll notice here that's quite nice is this big slide that says draft, confidential, and not to be circulated. Now, I'm guessing as this being put out on television and online, that maybe we should have done a different version. Small little observation I want to make about a slide. 1980 called, and they want the 4:3 aspect ratio back. Guys, please, if you are making a presentation nowadays, almost every screen you'll be operating on, unless you're doing it for a telephone, will be 16:9. So your aspect ratio wants to be more widescreen. I've not seen this format for a while. It is actually quite nice. It's taking me way back. Again, just not to put too much of a point on it. This is by the people who are educating the next generation of South Africans. But yeah, let's have a listen. Let's pop in.
Bowls, 1,000 of them, and those that require water tanks, pipes, and taps, 2,500. We are working with the Department of Water and Sanitation. The team met with them yesterday. They indicated to us that they were able to.
Now, you just heard the number there, 2,500. But I would like you to show me where you see 2,500 on the slide. It's very important that when we're presenting that the visual aid is there to help us present and give information, give context to the information that we're delivering. In fact, what we always say to people is that the line at the top is your kind of chapter heading, and the information should be something that unfolds as you're going through it. So you don't want to have a chart that is completely different to what you're talking about, because your audience will be trying to solve one thing and you'll be doing something else. Let's maybe go forward to another little slide here. Now, this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite slides. I'm all for supporting school children. And I'm so glad that we ask primary school children to design the slides and to get the pretty pictures up there and to take us through how our alert system works. But I do think that maybe when we're presenting, we should be trying to maybe be a little bit more professional than this. But yes, that's a shame. I actually feel quite bad now for poor Rudy Lowe at the bottom here, because apparently that was who did the graphics. Sorry, Rudy, but we've really got to kind of pick up our game here. If you do want to try and put in icons like this, please check out the nounproject.com. There's a lot of free icons you can use there. Very, very easy to make your presentation a lot nicer. And then the final thing, let's go through to our big finish here. If we can even take this back a little bit, because I think it's nice that we get to this kind of big finish. In fact, before we get there, guys, this is what we would refer to as a docu-deck, not a slide presentation. It is a document that is delivered by way of a slide deck. This is not going to help any audience, and anybody who's watching this is going to shift to another slide. This can be acceptable. But I do quite like that we decided to get visual near the end and go for a big finish.
There were two parts to this presentation, but I've tried to combine them. I might not be able to stay for the duration of the question and responses because I have to join the minister in doing the same presentation to the National Coronavirus Command Council.
Now, we always say to speakers that you've got to manage your segues. So you want to change your slide in time with what you're saying. Now, it feels like we're getting up to a nice big ending. It always seems impossible until it's done. By the way, one of the questions that was asked a few seconds before this, which I think was quite funny in the chat down here, is 2030. What has 2030 got to do with it? But what we have here is we have really, really bad stock imagery taking people through, oh, sorry, guys, taking people through this kind of ending that doesn't make any sense relative to what the speaker is saying. Please, if you do want to use stock imagery or nice imagery in your presentation, go to unsplash.com. You can download free, royalty-free images. You can credit people where it's possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our government delivering a presentation. This is the future of education of our children, and this is the level of presentation they're delivering. It isn't acceptable, but there's a lot to learn from them. You do not want to give a presentation like this. I think we all have the opportunity to be a little bit better, and I think we should watch these things as some degree of a cautionary tale. When you are delivering a presentation to 100 people for half an hour, that's 50 hours of attention. When you're delivering a presentation to 1,000 people, that is 1,000 hours of attention, or 500 hours of attention. When you're dealing information to a population of 50 million people, that is 25 million hours of attention that are being paid to you. Act accordingly. Right? Prepare accordingly. I understand that we're all working on a time frame, but taking a little bit of attention to detail, that's not really a terrible thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Lead loud.